welcome to Kankakee Podcast, where we talk about the people and places of Kankakee County. I'm Drew Raisor, and today we are joined with the one and the only Dr. Neal Woodruff.
Wow.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. What an introduction that is.
I know.
Yeah.
I had this whole intro written out, but then I was like, I probably can't read it. So I'm just going to go off the hook.
All
but
right.
How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. It's great. Olivet's on summer break, and so I get to do a lot of the things here that couldn't get done during the school year. So
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. So you have been the dean for, was it 2 years?
This is the end of my second year.
In your second year, how's that been so far?
So far, so good. I'm still doing a lot of the same teaching I was doing before, but taking on the administrative role. And I have a great administrative assistant who, Shannon McBurney, who kind of runs the building for me and keeps things going. But things are going really well. We've made some changes to the curriculum, and we're updating the building. And so lots of good things are happening.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys just went to Greece, correct? The concert singers did?
Yeah, concert singers. This is our second time to Greece. You were with us
I was
on the first trip. Yeah. And you remember going to the pool where it was 37 degrees. We didn't go to the same pool this time, but we went to something called the Bathtub of Zeus on Mount Olympus. The temperature was about 50 degrees in the water, which was still chilly, but it didn't hurt quite so much. But yeah, 17 students went, and we partnered with the Evangelical Church of Katerini, and we did a lot of cleanup work and got preparation for their sports ministries and that sort of thing, and did some singing as well.
That's awesome. Yeah. So last time we went, we worked with A to Z Bible Camp. Was it the same group, same setting?
Yeah, same group. We were in the same campground. Actually, last time we did not work at the campground. This time we did 2 work days at the campground, and the staff said that we did about 2 weeks worth of work for them, getting ready for a government inspection to open the camp for the summer. Oh,
that's cool. I mean, hey, 17 choir kids will get it done.
That's right.
You got to send them out there, do their thing.
We got after it.
Yeah, that's super cool. Yeah. So what kind of music do you take to places like that? Because obviously we have the stuff that we sing normally here in the U.S., that kind of thing. Do you stay in that realm, or do you also try to cater for what they may like to hear as well?
We do a little bit of both. I mean, when we sang at the youth service, they were interested in some more contemporary music, things like that. But the Evangelical Church in Greece doesn't have a very old music tradition on its own. So they do a lot of what we would consider traditional hymns, but translated into Greek. So we did arrangements of those, some that they could sing along with, and some that were a little more up tempo and things like that, which they seem to really like.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite parts of going, which I know this is not about me, but it was getting a chance to just sing for those people and have them just join in song, even not in the same language. Like the first day we were there, we went to a church service, and they were singing their songs in is it Greek?
In Greek, yeah.
In Greek, and and we're joining along in English. It is a cool setting of like, no matter where you're at, like the Lord's still right there.
Yeah.
Like that was the coolest part for me, at least.
Yeah, that was great.
And the food was also very good.
The food is amazing. Yeah.
I've never had bear tzatziki in my life. To this day, like there's a place in Valpo called King Gyros or Gyros or however you say it. It's not the same. It's not as good. Nope.
No. And you can eat as much as you want there, and you don't feel full and heavy, and it was so
great. Good. Well, I'm allergic to apples, and in Greece, nothing.
No problem.
No issue at all. It was great. I enjoyed an apple for the first time in like 6 years. It was wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you're the dean of the School of Music, obviously. How did you get here? I was reading a little bit about you, about how you you've gone to a couple different colleges, if I'm correct. Yeah. Take us through your journey of getting to here.
Okay. So the brief version is I graduated from Olivet, started teaching out in Herscher, Illinois, in the public schools out there, moved to Texas to do master's work and work at a church, then moved from there, got recruited by the president of Southern Nazarene University to come and teach there, and worked on my doctorate while I was there. Moved to Ohio for a little while to work in a church and teach part-time at Malone College. And then the position opened up here at Olivet. So in the fall of 2000, my family at that point, my wife and I, Shannon, and our son Ryan, packed up and moved here. And we've had 2 kids since, Kaylin and Kelly. So in the fall of 2000, started here doing all sorts of different kinds of things, choir and orchestra and voice. Still doing some of those things.
Yeah.
And and then 2 years ago, my predecessor, Dr. Don Reddick, had announced that he was going to retire. And I was approached about taking the position as Dean of the School of Music, and prayed through that and thought this might be the right time to step into to that role.
Yeah, I was going to ask, was there a hesitancy with coming into this position? I know it's different, from what I know, at least it is different than what you were doing before. Has it conflicted with like your ensembles and that kind of stuff at all?
So far, we seem to be doing okay.
Yeah, right.
And that was one of my hesitancies. It was, because most of the time, people in my role don't do as much teaching. And not only is there a need for me to still do the things that I'm doing, but I also really enjoy doing those things.
Right.
And I didn't want to give up on those
right.
as well. And so far, it has worked out really well for me to keep on doing most of that. We brought on somebody else. My wife, Shannon, is now teaching as an adjunct in voice. So she's taking on some of the freshman class responsibilities that I had, some of the non-majors. And then she's also vocal directing the spring musical, which I did for 25 years. And so she's now doing that. I still conduct the orchestra, but she's taking on some of the more day-to-day responsibilities of that. So that frees me up a little bit.
Yeah. And what are all of your degrees? I know you have a couple.
Okay, so I have a bachelor in music education from Olivet. I have a master in voice pedagogy and performance from Stephen F. Austin State University, and a doctorate in conducting from the University of Oklahoma.
Wow.
So
that's a lot of music.
That's a few things.
In a good way, I could not imagine. Like that is like for me, I know the 4 years I spent at Olivet, towards the end, I was like, man, more papers.
Right.
Like that is a lot of schooling, but good on you. That's very cool. So you've traveled with your job, that kind of stuff, but you started here, correct, in Kankakee?
I did. Yeah, I actually was born in St. Mary's Hospital. My last daughter, Kelly, was also born in St. Mary's Hospital. I grew up here, attended Bourbonnais schools and Bradley High School, and wasn't necessarily certain that I was coming to Olivet. My dad was on the faculty here, so there was some incentive there to do that. But I looked around and really kind of prayed about it and felt like Olivet was the right fit for me. And looking back on that, I really think that was the right decision.
The right call.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that is super cool. Have you, this is more of a random question. So you've been here for a while. If you could give me probably your top 3 Kankakee things to do or locations.
Top 3. There are some iconic things like, Yanakis.
Right.
You go to Yanakis. That's a pretty cool place to go. You get the, still kind of the drive-in feel and things like that. So I like that. Let's see, what would another one be? I really like Aurelio's pizza. It's
my favorite. Yeah. I love Aurelio's pizza.
I'll take that.
Yep.
And then here in Kankakee, there are other things to do, but I enjoy taking in the arts here, like the Kankakee Valley Theater or Kankakee Valley Symphony, things like that. So I enjoy some of those offerings as well.
Right. That is super cool.
Yeah.
Something new that has opened up is the Grove. That's
right.
That's a newer thing. Have you guys talked about any plans of maybe doing things at the Grove?
Yeah. So actually this last fall, the orchestra and concert singers were going to do our pops concert out at the Grove, and we got rained out. Oh. But then this spring, we worked with alumni, the ONU Alumni Association, and the wind ensemble and steel drum bands went out to the Grove and did a concert out there. We're planning to do the Pops concert again out with a children's cartoon kind of a theme.
That's cool.
This next fall. So look for information about that.
Yep. I remember the Pops concert 2020. We were out there was a tent out in the Larson common area in the grass.
Yeah.
I have a lot of very funny pictures from that because we're all in masks and we're all staying distance. I have a picture. It's me and then Noah DeLong and Marissa Constantino, and we're all just kind of separated. We're all thumbs up, but there's no contact. And it was very interesting coming into ONU like that. I always say I had a very easy transition in because I got here, no classes were in person, so I'd wake up. I'd come into your class with Diction 1 and an attempt to just be all right, schwa. I get what this is, that whole thing. And then, then we went to hybrid, some in person, some not. And then it was, fully in person. And it made my transition so much easier because it's I went from going to class in my pajamas in my bedroom to just, once a day. And then eventually I kind of got into it.
Yeah.
But yeah. It's a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing.
It's a thing. Yeah, that we should talk about that. You are known for your just little phrases, whether it's groovy, whether it's that's a thing, peace be with you, the whole thing. So much so that they have made T-shirts.
That's true.
With your sayings. Is that strange to you? Like, is it weird? Is that a fun weird? Like how does that?
I don't go into it with the idea that people are going to pick up on those. But I even remember when I was teaching music history, this has been 10 or 15 years ago now, and there was a term paper. There was an unspoken goal. Everybody had to use one of my phrases in their paper. And after about the third paper, I kind of figured out that's what was going on. Cool. But they started making T-shirts, things like God likes right notes or wrong notes are a result of the fall, things like that. It's a thing.
Right.
Groovy. I'm at peace with that. Yeah, and putting them on T-shirts.
Yeah, that's a cool thing. And that was the biggest thing of concert singers. I never used the term "that's a thing" until a concert singers, and I was like, "That's a good term to use." Yeah. I can just say it. It's a thing. I can't really do much about it.
And it can mean so many different things, right?
Right. Something that I have noticed, and this is a little bit more with me, with going to ONU. There's a lot of ensembles. My freshman year, I did way too many. Like there's a combo, there's an ensemble, there's something for everybody.
Yeah.
What I've learned is that every ensemble almost has its own personality. Would you say that is a great thing, or maybe something that you would want to have more of a cohesive thing with all the school?
No, that's a good question. I mean, for instance, we have 4 choirs right now, and if all 4 choirs were doing the same thing, that would be a little much overkill, right? There's Orpheus Choir that does traditional sacred literature. There's Gospel Choir, which does Black gospel music. Concert Singers, which does everything from madrigals to jazz, depending on where we are in the year. And now Sound of Praise, which concentrates on contemporary worship music and things like that. So each of them kind of takes on their own character, sort of based around the music that they're doing and that sort of thing. And I think that's a good thing. Yeah. But one of the interesting things that I've noticed, I mean, there are a number of people in Concert Singers who are also in other choirs. And so there's a different sense of camaraderie. I mean, there's not so much a sense of competition of, I'm in this choir and you're in this choir, as it is, we're all here to do this to the best of our ability to glorify God, as in whatever group we're in. Yeah,
it's just fun. And I realized that coming here too was that, like, I came from high school where it's like you gotta be the loudest, you gotta have the deepest voice or the highest voice. There's no in between. And so coming here and then you're just singing with your friends. Like it really is that feeling, as well as, like, you made a good point, the competition aspect. It's not there, and it's very. When you do multiple choirs, these become your best friends. You know, like you spend a good amount of time with them, even though it may only be, if it's Orpheus an hour and a half or Concert Singers an hour, 3 times a week, you do form a different kind of bond than you would just going to class, in my opinion, because it is such an interactive thing. It's like, do you know this note? I do not know this note. Like, let's figure out together. Like, let's, that kind of thing. So that is something that I've always liked about Olivet and the ensembles as well. So with that, you've also, with Concert Singers, you went to Greece recently, twice. Where else have you guys gone?
Concert Singers has been all over the place. In South America, we've been to Brazil and Paraguay. We've been to Bulgaria and Germany and Switzerland, and twice to Greece. We've been to Hong Kong and South Korea. I think that's been to Argentina at one point many years ago. So been to a variety of places. Yeah,
that's super cool. Can you pick a favorite?
Well,
maybe not a favorite, but maybe like the most unique place that you visited.
Yeah, I mean, there are different things about each trip that I really have enjoyed. For instance, we really enjoyed the food in South Korea and in Hong Kong. The great food, although it's different flavor, but we really like the food in Greece as well. But and you form a special bond with the people on that trip. The students who go, but then the people who were there. But one of the reasons why we went back to Greece was just there was something really, I think, kind of special and unique about the church we were working with and the camp that we were at. And so when we started talking a year ago about where we were going to go, quite a number of the students said, well, let's just go back to Greece. Yeah. And even though there were students who went on the first trip who weren't able to go this time, there were a couple who've been on both trips. Right. Everybody just seemed really enthusiastic about going. So
there is something about going on a different country, especially going on a mission type trip where it's like you're going to serve. Like that is, do you get the enjoyment of being in a different country? Yes, you do, of course. So there's some of that, but like the real reason you're there is to serve. And whenever, at least me, like whenever I'm here, the last thing I want to do is go pull weeds. Yeah. But when you're out there with these people who go to that church, who work there, who are a part of this community, it makes it fun. And especially like when I went, I got to talk to to the Pastor Nico's for at least an hour while I'm just pulling weeds out of the turf, you know? And I will never forget that because it is a chance to just new experiences, different types of people and different, same religion, but different cultures at the same time, you know, and just seeing how they express it versus how we express it. It was a very, very cool experience.
Yeah, it really was.
I couldn't imagine the food in South Korea had to be amazing. I love Korean food. It is probably my favorite.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So good stuff.
Yeah. So coming up here soon, you guys have a music camp going on.
We do.
I'm helping with the recording arts teaching aspect of it with high school. Give us some information on that. What's the age levels? What do you guys have to offer? That kind of stuff.
Yeah. And actually, the summer music camp is kind of an offshoot of what used to be in this area as a piano camp. But after a while, that sort of kind of lost momentum and things like that. But Dr. Sonia Comer on our faculty, she's a recent doctor. She just finished it a couple weeks ago. And so she kind of heads that up for us. And it takes all ages. So there are elementary students who come and they're just here for day camp for the week. And they get all sorts of different kinds of experiences. There is junior high and high school who can come in for day camp, or they can do overnight camp as well. Oh, cool. And they get exposure to music theory and to their lessons and to music theater and recording arts and jazz and small ensembles. And so it's a really kind of immersive experience, which is pretty cool. And we have faculty and students, music ed students in particular, who are involved in it. So it's a good practicum for them. But really a great experience for the students to come.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very cool, as well as getting a chance to, plant the Olivet seed in some prospective students. You know, it's like, hey, we got this pretty cool camp. Now imagine if you lived here.
Right.
You know, right. Yeah. So with the term like summer camp, obviously it could mean a couple things. Is this a mainly educational kind of camp, or is it like, hey, we'll do this for an hour and then we're going to go outside and we're going to do this? Like, what's the kind of vibe?
No, that's a good question. I mean, it's a week-long camp, and the counselors plan all sorts of activities. They might even have like dinner at the home of one of the faculty members, things like that. And they have other kinds of games and activities and movies and all sorts of things that they do, in addition to doing the learning and then preparing for a performance on the last day.
That's cool. What's that performance look like? Is it like singing, or is it a combination of everything?
Combination of everything. You'll have instrumentalists and pianists and vocalists. You'll have kids doing maybe a little scene from a Broadway show. That's cool. There do some art activities. There'll be kids who will have some recording arts things that they can demo and things like that. Yeah. Yeah. So a little bit of everything. Yeah.
It's been fun for me. I've been working on like planning some stuff for them to do. And I was a camp counselor for about 6 years. It was my favorite thing in the world. Yeah. I played for a job. Like, it was awesome. And so with that, like now I'm teaching like a class, so to say, less of like hey, let's go jump in a river. And so it's been cool to try to like bring that fun aspect to the recording. Whether it's like one of the plans is I want to take them outside. And a guy named Charlie Puth, if you know who that is, he makes songs with just sounds. Like, he'll go outside, he'll find a sound, and then boom, there's a hit. So I want to take him out and do that and be like, hey, let's make the song with the sounds of the campus, whether it's the bulldozers in the quad or whether it's whatever, something like that.
Or the trumpet in the background
here.
Yeah,
right, exactly. Yeah, it's just Steven, I'm just going to have Steven just halfway play trumpet. But no, that's super cool and a good experience for kids to go out there and just dive a little bit into music, you know, especially for whether you're younger or older. Like, I took AP theory in high school, but I know not all schools offer that. And so that helped me a lot just to get like a foundation in what music theory is, you know, like, all right, like 6/4 chords, like it's not a fraction, it's a note, like it's crazy. But no, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, is there anything else that you want to drop or talk about?
Well, I mean, the commercial is that Olivet's a great place to develop and to use your musical skills to glorify God. There are scholarships available for just about everybody. Yeah. But we really think that I think that Olivet's School of Music is maybe kind of an untapped secret in the Kankakee area.
I agree.
There are a lot of things that we do. I mean, people may know that we have a marching band, but they don't know how big the marching band is. It's like the third largest in the state.
We've got a huge trailer for it.
Right. Yeah. We got 4 choirs and we've got all the combos and the orchestra and jazz band and all that sort of thing. And we've got the shows that people will come out to occasionally. But there's an awful lot of good music that happens on campus. Like Sounds of the Season has gotten some, popular notice. We're starting to sell out 2 shows in the 3,000 seat auditorium. Yeah, so we may have to add another show. Who knows?
Why not?
Yeah.
Let's do
if
6.
People still want to come.
Let's do 2 weekends. Why not?
Right. So, but I think that the School of Music is kind of an unknown or one of those kind of underrated things that goes on in the arts community here in Kankakee that a lot of people would really enjoy.
Yeah. And the biggest thing is it's good music.
Yeah.
There is, you can tell even with the students, there is a passion for what they're doing and they're not just going up there to get a credit, you know, and I think that was a big difference from maybe other schools or from this one is that it may be a smaller institution and private, but the people who are here, they care and it's a commitment and that's what makes the environment fun, you know, because it's we're not just here messing around, just, here to make the teacher happy and then go home.
Right.
It's no, I chose to do this. I'm going to put my all into it and have fun at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, I got one more question for you.
Okay.
So you have Sounds of the Season and you have Messiah. Both of them have to be just huge undertakings to put on in general with all that goes on. What would you say the most rewarding to finish, so to say, in a good way?
You mean which of the concerts? Or
which of the two? Because they're both big feats. Which one after you finish are that was awesome, but now I can breathe? Yeah.
Well, again, each of them has their own thing. Messiah, I think, is such a tradition. I mean, it's been going on for 90 some odd years here at Olivet, and there's something to be said. Even last year at Homecoming, where we did an alumni Messiah, where we had alumni string players and orchestra members and choir members come back, and they all remember getting to do Messiah while they were here. Right. And it really is such a tradition. And we live in a time when a lot of people don't have too many traditions to fall back on. So that one, the tradition of that, I think is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Sounds of the Season is perhaps a little more complex than that, just because of all the moving parts.
Yeah.
And media services jumps in and they do some of their sorts of things with graphics and lights, but we have to figure out the puzzle pieces of, okay, this ensemble is going to come on, then this ensemble is going to come on, and there aren't people in both of those, and then how do we get this ensemble over here?
Right.
And so it takes a different kind of planning for that. But when you kind of see it all come together, it just feels really good,
right? Well, and you guys got it down, the flow. The flow, it's all right, go now. Lights are off. This crew goes over here. The flow is immaculate.
Yeah.
That was the one thing that was nice, was that it does get stressful at times with the rehearsals or with how much is going on, but it's at least we know where we're going.
Yeah.
We know as long as we can get to this spot at this time, the notes will be sung.
Yeah.
One of my favorite memories from Sounds of the Season was the year we passed out candy canes.
Oh yeah,
to the audience. That was hilarious. And so I stood next to my former roommate, one of my best friends, Matt Bacon. And so we're each given 2 or 3 candy canes and we have to give them to somebody. And so Bacon's got 3 candy canes and I hand mine out, and everyone takes them, kids are taking them, and Bacon goes up to the first person and and they look at him weird and they're like, no. He goes up to the next person. No. Bacon went to almost 6 people and every single one was like, no candy canes. And so he walks backstage and we get, because you walk out behind the chapel stage and then back on. And we separated for that one part, and I come back out, and Bacon's got 2 candy canes in his mouth, and he's singing the song, and it was so funny. And that was one of the things where I was like, we all take this serious, but man, this is funny. Yeah. It's good times. Well, thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, thank you.
I really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. So thank you.
Thanks.
Yep.
That concludes this episode of Kankakee Podcast. I'm Jake Lamore. Thank you so much for listening. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn at Kankakee Podcast. Shout out to Stephanie Vanderweide for supporting the show each month through Patreon. If you want your name announced on a future episode, you can sign up at patreon.com/Kankakee Podcast. Special thanks to our sponsors, Chicago Dough Company, Noble Dairy Queen Stores, Frank's Appliance Center and Sleep Source, Pigosh Engineering, King Music, Little Me Studio, Taco John's, D. Westfall Jewelers, and Edward Jones Financial Advisor Adam Elroy. Kankakee Podcast is produced by the fine team at Pathfinder, a full-service marketing agency in downtown Kankakee. Learn more at yourpathfinder.io. Our theme song is by Lupe Carroll.